let's talk about how to take care of your natural leather chamois. Now, the best quality chamois are made with sheepskin, and the highest quality sheepskin comes out of New Zealand. They're then tanned in cod oil, and it gives that very soft, supple texture. Now, a good quality chamois that's properly maintained can last you for years. In fact, I've had this chamois for probably 5 or 6 years, maybe even longer, and it's still just as soft as it was when I first bought it. And it's still very absorbent. Now, an improperly maintained chamois can end up looking a little something like this. Now, I got this from a friend of mine who claims that chamois, they don't last very long, they don't work well, they lose their absorbency, they fall apart, they leave lint on the car, you name it. Well, after I talked to him a little bit and investigated, I found out exactly what happened to this chamois in such a short period of time. He ended up getting a little grease on it, and then he washed it in the washing machine, and when that didn't work, he ended up bleaching it. And last, while it was still wet, he folded it up and put it into a Ziploc bag to store. Well, when he washed it in the washing machine, all of the cod oil was removed out of the sheepskin, and then it became essentially untreated leather. And when he bleached it, because it was unprotected leather, it ended up becoming so damaged that it cracked and became very brittle and started falling apart. And last, when he stored it wet, which you're not supposed to do, it ended up rotting and growing mold. So he pretty much did everything that you're not supposed to do all in one sitting. Had he read the instructions and followed them, his chamois would have lasted just as long as mine, if not longer. Now, I just bought a brand new chamois, and I made sure that the leather was from New Zealand, and you can certainly tell that it's tanned with cod oil. And coming up next, I'm going to show you how to prepare this for its very first use. You want to wash it in warm soapy water. And I always use car wash soap just to be safe. And what you're doing is really you're just removing a lot of the excess cod oil that may be left over from the tanning process. So keep squeezing it in the soapy water. There may be a little yellow residue that's being released from the sheepskin. That's fine, it's totally normal. Squeeze it out a little bit. Rinse it in some clean water. It's a lot easier to do it in the kitchen sink. And then gently squeeze it out. Wring it out really well. And that's it. It's ready to use. Once you finish using your chamois, after every use, you want to wash it in soapy water, wring it out really well, get it as dry as you possibly can. And it's okay if you leave a little of the soap in the chamois, that's totally fine. Shake it out, and you want to pull it out to its original shape. Make sure to get all of the edges so that it dries properly. And then you can drape it over anything, the workbench, the clean handle of the lawnmower, the handlebars of your motorcycle, whatever you got. I use this little dowel rod that I made, and that's it. Now I'm going to go hang this up behind me, and tomorrow I'll come and check on it. It should be dry. Okay, so it looks like our natural chamois dried completely overnight. It got a little stiff, which is normal. Now as soon as you re-wet it, it's going to immediately become soft and absorbent again. Now what I like to do is I like to soften this while it's still dry, because I use it in the house. I find that they are amazing at removing smudges and fingerprints, even light dust, off of TV screens, computer monitors, windows, mirrors, even my appliances. In fact, they work so well that I found little tiny sections of natural chamois that I use on smaller electronics like my laptop and my smartphone. I keep one in my car so that I can do the rear view mirror, the windshield, the wood grain, and my touch screen. So they work really well. Now, in order to soften this, all you do is you just work it against itself, kind of crumble it up a little bit, rub it up against itself. If it's still a little stiff, you can take it and work it across a very smooth, clean surface. I use the workbench. You don't want any nails or anything jagged that's going to stick up and rip the chamois. So you just work it back and forth until you get it as soft as you want. And that's it. So I end up folding it up, and I'll store it with other cloths that I use. Make sure to keep it away from direct sunlight and intense heat. And there you go. So I hope you got a lot of good information out of this video. And remember, when you buy a natural chamois, make sure it's a quality chamois and take good care of it, and it should last you a long time. So thanks for watching.